Followers of Nurgle rejoice, for the clanking of the Myphitic Blight-haulers has come. Let's talk tactics on the Myphitic Blight-haulers.
Anvil of War! Let's talk tactics!
Hey guys, we're back here today talking about one of my favorite cute little scuttlebugs in the Death Guard Codex, the Myphitic Blight-haulers. These guys are basically a Death Guard dreadnought. They're a lot of fun to use, and they're basically a little mobile weapons platform that you can bring in your Death Guard army. Coming in kind of fast, they move 10 inches. They're toughness 7 with 4 up ballistic skill and weapon skill. They have 8 wounds, just like a dreadnought, and they have 3 attacks with leadership 8. Now the interesting thing is you can take 3 of them in a unit together, which means they have to keep 2-inch unit coherency, but in doing that, they all get +1 to hit. So they shoot like Space Marines all of a sudden. In terms of war gear options, they don't actually have any, but they do start with a nice kind of plethora of gun options, which there seems to be a bit of a lack of in the Death Guard Codex right now. You get a multi-melta, which allows you to kind of punch tanks at 24 inches, and then you have a missile launcher, which can be used either against infantry or with the crack missile against other tanks at 48-inch range. Now this is great because 3 of them, that really allows you to kind of have some punchy, shooty weapons at a distance. One of the interesting things about them is they have a rule called Putrescent Fog. Now what this does is all Death Guard infantry wholly within 7 inches of the Myphitic Blight-haulers get +1 to their cover saves as if they were in cover. This is great for units like Plague Marines, any of your Death Guard infantry elite heroes, mostly because they don't have invuln saves, and any kind of, I guess you can consider Poxwalkers an interesting choice for this because they don't have an armor save, so it does give them a 6-up save. They do have to be wholly within though, which can be difficult for a unit like Poxwalkers. Being in a unit of 3 is really good because they do get the +1 to hit. This makes their shooting a lot more effective, and when buffed with something like a Chaos Lord or a Demon Prince, they're hitting quite effectively. Strength 8 shooting is always great against enemy vehicles, and being a unit of 3, you can cast that -1 to hit with Miasm of Pestilence from a Psyker, and that would make them -1 to hit as well. Being Death Guard, you're already pretty durable with Disgusting Resilient, and these guys do rock a 5-up invuln save too, which makes them, in my opinion, a little bit better than Dreadnoughts. And coming in at only 110 points, they're cheap. Now these guys do have a lot of special rules included in their data slate. A couple more of them is Foul Stench. This makes them -1 to hit in the fight phase. Stacked with Miasm of Pestilence, like I said, they could be -2 to hit. That's great for keeping them alive, not on top of your Death Guard resilience. Another thing that these guys are great for is the fact that they don't suffer the penalty for -1 to hit with heavy weapons, which admittedly their missile launcher and their multi-melta is. That's a special rule called Tri-Tract. So they're able to move their 10 inches, move around, get that gun line position potentially, or at least get your sight line, and can keep pace with something like a Demon Prince or a faster moving HQ that can add buffs to these guys shooting. So there's quite a few different units that you can use to buff the Myphitic Blight-haulers to make them even better, believe it or not. Obviously the first choice is the Demon Prince, which is basically an auto-include in any Death Guard army at this point. He gives them the reroll 1s ability, and if he's your Warlord, a great Warlord trait that you can take is Arc Contaminator. This allows their Flamers, which are plague weapons, to reroll all failed wound rolls. Being Strength 6, it isn't the best Flamer in the world, but against Toughness 3 infantry, you are wounding them on 2s, rerolling 1s, so you don't really need the Arc Contaminator trait. But against something that's like a higher toughness where you're wounding on 5s, at least you're rerolling all your wounds, so you can get that second shot at getting 5s and 6s. Now, another great unit to buff them even further is the Poc Springer. Now, this is from the Chaos Demons Codex, so you don't actually get this from the Death Guard Codex, but he is a Nurgle Demon HQ that allows +1 strength to all Nurgle Demons. Now, why this is great is the Flamer on the Myphitic Blight-haulers is Strength User, which is Strength 6 on a Myphitic Blight-hauler. So if he's within 6-inch range of them, that gives them +1 strength, making them Strength 7. Most vehicles being Toughness 7, that allows you to wound on 4s. Maybe stacking that with Arc Contaminator, now you're rerolling all wounds. It's only AP -1, 1 damage, but hey, anything helps. So let's talk a little bit about what I like and don't like with them on the tabletop. Now, you can't have everything, right? And these guys, they kind of suffer due to the fact that they have a 4+ ballistic skill. Now that's just me because I'm used to playing kind of Marines and having a 3+ weapon skill on a lot of my weapon skill, ballistic skill, same thing, right? They're Daemon-Engine, they get 4s on both. But I typically like to be hitting on 3s, either shooting or melee. These guys hit on 3s when they're in a unit of 3, but as soon as you lose one, they kind of become crippled, right? They drop to that 4+ ballistic skill, weapon skill, and it hurts them. These guys are great in kind of being able to move around. They add that mobility to a Death Guard list, and certainly with the shooting, they give you that long-range firepower that Death Guard is kind of known for its melee and kind of mid-range firepower, so it's nice to have something that can reach out and touch your opponent. They can keep pace with your Demon Princes, which is great. I like keeping them very free moving, but you do need to screen them, and as soon as they get locked up, they become almost useless. They do have 3 attacks, which is good. Their attack is AP -2, 1 damage, which is good. You know, at strength 6, it's wounding most elites and stuff on 3s, and being a plague weapon, you're rerolling 1s. But I think once they get locked up, once they lose a single model in their unit, because you do have a unit of 3, hopefully, they're a little bit better that way, they kind of tend to go off the wayside, and you start to see less performance out of them. So screen them. Use great units like Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers are not as good as something like Plague Bearers, so if you're already going to be including a Plague or a Poc Springer, you're probably bringing some units from the Chaos Demons Codex. So consider bringing some Plague Bearers to screen them, because those guys are amazing at doing that. Otherwise, keeping a mobile gun platform is a lot of help in providing some long-range firepower for your Death Guard army and kind of harassing enemy vehicles, because these guys are hard to remove from the table with the Disgusting Resilient, with the invuln save, and with being nega hits, basically. That's not a word, but you know, sometimes we make up words when we play Warhammer 40,000. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Myphitic Blight-haulers. They're a great little unit. They're super cute, they're super fun to paint, and they're really easy to build, because Games Workshop has a nice little kind of easy part kit for building these guys. Get yourself 3 of them, because I like running them in a unit of 3. It's very nurgly, it makes them better in general, and it makes their buff aura even bigger when you're in a big unit like that. So your units like Plague Marines and stuff are going to get a lot more mileage out of their saves with these guys around.
Sponsored by...
Thank you guys for watching another video today here on Anvil of War Gaming. If you like the content that we are making, please let us know by hitting that subscribe button down below to allow us to keep making content for you guys that you guys love. See you next time. Okay, I wasn't ready. I got Nurglings!